Hello, everyone. I'm early. Why not show up early when it's almost 1 a.m.? What does it matter? What does it matter? 12:58, 1 a.m. Might as well just jump on because I'm here. Hello. Hi, you guys. I'm sorry for the glare, but the light is the way the light is. Life is the way it is. The world is the way it is. God bless it all. Let's not fight against what is. Let's allow it. Hello, how are you guys? How's everyone doing? Berlin is amazing. I mean, to be completely honest, I haven't seen much of it because it's so freaking cold for me that I've been inside places most of the time. But I went to this really powerful, beautiful cathedral in Berlin, right down the street from where I'm staying. Oh, I put a picture of it up on Instagram. Oh my God, it was so powerful. This huge cathedral. Um, yeah, it really took my breath away. It was really, really, really beautiful. Feeling lonely today for the first time in a long time. Me too, Len, and unsettled. Me too. Oh my gosh. I was literally just sitting in my hotel room and I'm just this overwhelming. I was messaging my friend and I'm like, man, I have this overwhelming sense of like sadness or loneliness or like I couldn't quite pinpoint this energy I was feeling. It felt unsettled. It felt like, "Wait, something doesn't feel quite right," and I was, like, feeling into it. I couldn't I can't tap into what exactly it is, but I'm right there with you, Lynn. Um, so okay, it's 1 a.m. my time in Berlin. We're gonna start our energy update. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Really happy to be here. This is our last live event of January. The February schedule is up, so it's posted on the Patreon page. And our next live event is this coming Sunday, February 4th. Let me double check. Yeah, February 4th. It's our guided meditation. And it is at 1 p.m. California time. 1 p.m. California time is our guided meditation. So check your calendar. Hello, you guys, Jill, Christine, Pua, hello, my friend, Christy, Sterla, Lisa, Claudia, Carla. Really good to be here with you guys. All right, let's get going. Because, well, one, it's 1 a.m. Two, I have to get up at 5:30 a.m. So I want to get a little bit of sleep. But let's talk about the energies. Oh, let's talk about the energies. Okay. Um, there were a couple themes that came in. A couple of themes that came in today. And okay, let me write this one down too because it just came in. I'm going to start with what I think is the most important sort of um, palpable energy right now. And I always find these energy updates somewhat cute and funny because, what does it mean, an energy update? Basically, we're in a quantum field, which means we're in this big, almost like a bubble, except there is no bubble. There's no end to this space we're in, this field of consciousness. So, in this quantum space, everything's available at any time. And sometimes when we talk about like energies or energy updates, what's palpable in the field? Basically what we're saying is, okay, I'm standing, I'm being the body, which isn't really you, but my body's standing in a quantum field, a big bubble. And what are the more potent energies that I may feel, my body may feel right now in this kind of space-time continuum on the planet. And what's so fabulous about this quantum field and all of us being energy in a physical body is that I can be in Berlin right now, and somebody else could be in Australia, and somebody else could be standing in Japan and wherever. And because we live in a quantum field, we can be feeling or picking up on the same energies. It's miraculous. It's insane. We don't really think about that, but we can be feeling the same things. And so it's almost like you're standing in a room and there's 25 lamps, okay? But 3 of the lamps are brighter than normal. And so we walk into the room and we're like, wow, I can really feel these 3 lamps because they're turned on. I can see them. And the other lamps I don't really see that well. It's an energy update, right? What are the energies? Okay. What's most palpable? What can we see the most? Um Balloons. Okay, first, balloons. Balloons. How come it's not going? Where are the balloons? What if it just went away? Okay, first energy is intuition. Following your true north. Really following you. And meaning whatever you are going to be experiencing in the next day, the next week, next month, whatever you are knowing to be your truth, it's that essence, that spark, intuition is going to get louder and louder and louder. And what I mean when I say it's going to get louder and louder and louder is that there is a very high potential that people or experiences are going to come into your life, very subtle perhaps, or pretty profound, big, that are going to test your truth, your deep, deep truth, your true north, what you know to be true about yourself, about the world, about whatever. And pay attention to that because we're programmed to let others tell us how we should be or how we should feel or what we should look at, what we should pay attention to, what's most important. Even this energy update. What are you actually feeling as your true north? So you don't just believe whatever people are saying. You're truly going inward and asking, is this true for me? Does this resonate? And what you're going to find out, what you may already be finding out, is that your true north, your truest knowingness may be going up against everything that you have been taught in this world, in your life. So it may not make sense. It may be different than how the rest of the world works. One of the examples I can give for myself personally is this deep, deep intuitiveness that I feel around healing and how I see healing, what it means to me, what it looks like to me, and what it feels like to me. And how it's quite possible that the majority of the world doesn't see it that way. And so sometimes when we have an intuition, a knowingness, a way in which we truly believe the world is, and the majority of humanity doesn't, it can be very difficult for us to stay in that truth. Maybe we're like, well, maybe it's not true. Maybe the rest of the world is right. I don't know. Trying to find my cleaner for my glasses. This is going to come up more and more, and it's going to test you. It's going to test your deeper truths around everything. So you're sitting in a conversation with someone and you're just feeling like, wow, this person um, doesn't want to be here, right? Or and it's just a knowingness, it's just an intuitiveness. There doesn't need to be a reason for it. Wow, I'm really not supposed to be in this place right now. I'm not supposed to be in this job anymore. I'm not supposed to. Um, I don't know, whatever it is for you. Wow, I just cleaned my glasses and it's literally like I have a whole new lens. It's like clarity. Um, yeah. If you're having issues with the Crowdcast, use Google Chrome. Okay, so that's the first thing, intuition. It's going to come up more and more and more. So pay attention to it. I guarantee you that your intuition is going to it's going to show you how you see the world very differently than the majority of humanity. And you have to start trusting that. You have to. You have to, even more than you already have. Um, because in this shift in consciousness, in this evolution that we're going through, we're literally moving out of one way of being, one collective way of being. Okay. So we all do it like this. We live like this. We speak like this. We believe these things. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this, blah, blah, blah. Even relationships. I was talking to a friend of mine tonight that I went out to dinner with, and I was like, relationships are changing in a big way. And so if you're starting to get into a new relationship, it has the potential to be very different because in the past, the programming of relationships was you met someone, you fell in love, and then it was like, well, then the next thing you do is you stay with them for a long time and you settle in, you live together, maybe you get married, you have kids. It's like there was this programming, there still is, but it's shifting. There's a programming around relationship of I go into the relationship, I stay in the relationship, I make the relationship work, and we do life together. Nothing wrong with that. It's going to be very different now when people start coming together. Now, when people are coming together in this kind of new space, not everyone, okay, but it's now much more available. What happens is that people are coming together and there isn't this deep programming of what you're supposed to do in this relationship. It's more free, it's more open, it's expansive. It's like uh, you're not in that deep programmed state of, oh my god, we do this and then we find this house and then we move in together and then we do, that's in this new paradigm, that's not going to happen as much. Okay. It's still happening to millions of people, but there's a new way of living. There's a new kind of like a new way of being on this planet that's opening. Okay. It's very different. Some people in the spiritual community would say, well, this is 3D Earth and this is 5D Earth. This is the old Earth. This is the new Earth. However you want to say it, say it. Those things don't really matter. What matters is that there's old and deep programming that we're squeezing ourselves out of. We're walking over the bridge and we're starting to be in this new kind of vibrational frequency. And so your intuition is going to be over here. Your intuition is going to be pointing out all of the ways in which this deep programming doesn't make sense anymore. It's probably already been doing it, but pay attention even more. I'm saying pay attention to even the people that you believe the most, even the people that you admire the most. Pay attention because what we're stepping into is a very small percentage right now. It's like 0.0001% of the planet is living in these new ways. So 99.999% of people are still in this old way. And so most people in your lives are still going to be in this patterning. Your intuition is going to bring you over here. It's going to be you're gonna have to trust that intuition is gonna show you very different ways of being that are going to trigger people, and it's going to insist that you no longer do it the way you've been doing it, the way the world does it. And I'm not just talking about like what you eat or, putting, going to school or not going to school, or I'm talking big things. I'm talking about the deep, deep, deep programming of how you literally see the world. Um, it's deep, deep programming. So pay attention to that. It's going to come up more and more and more. Follow you, and you'll know it's intuition when you know that it's going up against what most people do. Um, okay. The next word, um, it's not so much about open relationships. It's not so much about how you're like if you have multiple partners. It's about the programming. So a program is something that is inserted into your brain, okay? And it's unconscious and it's playing in the background. It's very, very unconscious. And you don't even realize that you're making choices based on this deep unconscious program that's playing in the background. It's really profound programming. It's very, very subtle. And your intuition is going to go against the programming. It's going to pull you out of it. So, program relationship is you go into a relationship, you figure out if it's the right one, you try to force the right one into it being the right one. As somebody from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. This is just how programming is in relationships. We're coming out of it. So a lot of you are going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't ever do that, or I would never do that. All right. It's still a deep, deep program that 99.999% of humanity lives in. You try to squeeze yourself into a relationship. You're supposed to be in a relationship, find your partner, settle down, right? And make a life together. And you would say, well, yes, of course, that sounds incredible, right? But I would ask you, when you're going into a relationship now, is that what is leading the relationship and what you're doing and how you're like navigating it? Or are you completely open to what is? So there is no program playing in the background. There is no, is this the one? It either is or is it isn't, and it's going to show itself regardless. There isn't any, oh, I have to make sure that we settle down at some point and I get married and I have kids. That's a program. And again, lots of people are going to say, well, that's a beautiful thing. I want to get married. I want to have kids. That's fine. But the programming is that it is pulling your behaviors. So it's leading the way. It's very different, okay, than having this open, receptive space where you step in and nothing's pulling you or grabbing you. The intuition is just saying yes or no. And you're moving with the flow of whatever relationship is coming in. Pay attention, because a lot of people will get triggered by what I'm saying, want to argue with it, but just pay attention in your everyday life. What's running the show? What's running the behaviors? Even something as simple as I can't travel because I don't have the money because of ... Or if I travel, I won't be able to afford it because of ... Or, well, that's true because I don't have money in my bank account, right? There's an underlying program playing back here, right, that protects you from stepping into a different life, stepping into, wait, what if I did open to traveling? Maybe I won't travel as far or as into the exotic places, but what if travel is opening for me? Right? What if something is opening for me, but this program, the intuition's going to tell you, start looking for travel, start going somewhere, start looking for a place to go to in the desert. And the programming is going to say, I can't afford it. I don't know. I can't leave my job. I can't. That's the programming. It's subtle or loud, but you believe it. You don't question it. And it leads your behavior. But the intuition is saying, Please go look at Airbnbs in a desert somewhere. That's intuition. So when we start living in this new world, following intuition is going to be huge. So following intuition is not following the programming. So then you get people saying, "You're crazy. What are you doing? Don't you need a plan? Don't you need this? Don't you need that?" It's the old programming. It's the old world. Makes perfect sense. I totally get it. I get all of this. All I'm saying is we're stepping into this really profoundly this year, and there are no rules. There is no way of doing it. We're going to find more and more people being in life in completely different ways. Very different ways because they're following intuition. And intuition is soul, intuition is spirit, intuition is God, intuition is faith, intuition is trust, intuition is flow. And I'll preface this by saying it's not easy and it's not careless, but you have to start, meaning you don't just quit your job and willy-nilly say, "Okay, let's go." And then you're just like, "Holy shit, what did I do?" Okay. There is responsibility in life. We do have, there's this balancing that we're in right now, and this back and forth bridge. But start to pay attention more and more to that intuitive hit, that intuitive call that's going to be taking you further and further away from the programming and the way in which we are here to do life. So with relationships, I don't know if it's an open relationship or not. If you have 17 different people that you're dating, or your partner and you are open to other people while you're together. All I'm talking about is the deep programming that unconsciously leads how you are, how you be in life. Really paying attention to that. Um, it's going to have you question. You're going to be questioning life. You're going to be questioning your choices. You're going to be questioning why you do what you do. Intuition, it makes you question. Makes you question a lot. Where's my little here? You should be questioning. Today I got out of a call with this mentor that I hired, that I literally hired, and then a month later, like today, I basically fired her, but she tried to convince me of why I should stay. And I thought I was going crazy because she was kind of convincing me, that I had, she was just convincing me of things. And I started to go crazy. So I called my girlfriend. I'm like, am I going crazy? Or like, have you ever been in a relationship with someone, and you feel a certain way, okay? And you could call it narcissistic, but it doesn't really matter the word, but you feel a certain way. Your intuition is telling you, this doesn't feel right, or you know what? My feelings got hurt. I didn't like the way you said that, or I didn't like the way you treated me, or whatever it may be, right? And the person flips it on you and tells you that you're the one that has the problem, that you have to look at this, that this is all about you. And then you're like, wait a second, have I lost my freaking mind? Intuitively, you know that what you're feeling is right. Intuitively, you know that how you're feeling about this person and what they did is right. You know that they just manipulated you. You know that they are lying. You know it, right? But you're like, maybe I am fucked up. Hold on. Am I messed up? Your intuition is calling you to the deeper truth, and you're engaging with someone that's making you question that. I got on the phone with my girlfriend. I'm like, have I lost my mind? Can you just tell me your honest truth? It's like gaslighting, right? Can you tell me the honest truth? So I told her the whole story. She's like, girl, be done. There is absolute no excuse for that treatment. Blah, blah, blah. I said, thank you. I needed that. The mind messery that can happen right now is very subtle. So again, going back to intuition, trusting it. People are going to come in perhaps and really challenge that and make you think you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You're not. Yes, it's gaslighting. What if this is every relationship you're in? Well, Cindy, you are you are really being asked to trust yourself. Pay attention to that. When you think you're going crazy, okay? That feeling of like, am I like when somebody makes you feel like there's something wrong with you, that's a red flag. It's a red flag. So really pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition knows. Your intuition knows. Okay, second energy right now. It's really important that we start uh, using the lens to see the world in is service to others. I was driving home from dinner with a friend of mine. He lives in Berlin, and he was telling me these stories of how his friends are coming to him right now, and he's frustrated with them, and he just doesn't want to listen. He doesn't understand why they can't see their patterns. And I said to my friend, I said, "You've been doing so much work on yourself. You're so much more clear and aligned and connected." I said, "You realize that you're here to serve them. You're here to serve them." He says, "What do you mean?" I said, Our work, the reason we are doing all of this internal work is not for ourselves. It's not so that you can be happier or more joyful or more peaceful or more calm, more connected. That happens. And initially, we are doing this because we want to feel something else other than suffering and anxiety and stress and whatever. So we feel like we're doing it in order to create some sort of life for us. That's not why you're doing it. You're doing it so that you can be in the most aligned state, in the most calm state, in the most peaceful state, so that you can show up for others. Because what's happening right now is from a higher perspective, my friend's soul is shining bright. His friends' souls are recognizing that and they're coming to him. They're bitching and moaning and complaining, but they're still coming to him. From a higher perspective, their soul is coming to his soul and saying, "Can you help me out here? I'm really confused." The personality says it like, "I don't know what I want to do. I want to keep having the lifestyle that I have." He's from a rich family, but I just need to make enough money so that I can keep this lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. My friend's like, just it drives him nuts. Whatever story you want to say, where you're listening to somebody and you see their patterns, you see their programming, you see what they're in. It's not about the personalities coming together and arguing or trying to convince the other. It's about two souls connecting, reminding each other of who they are. And if you are lucky enough to go first and go through more of an awakened path first, you're more clear. You're shining, your light is shining out more right now. You're not better then, you're not more bright. You're just cleaner. So the light is able to come out more. And the soul around you say, "Oh, hey." And most of the time, because he says, "Well, shouldn't there be an energy exchange?" My friend has a lot of money from something else that he's doing, right? He says, "Shouldn't there be an energy exchange?" I said, "What do you mean an energy exchange? Like they should be paying you?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Are you wealthy right now?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Do you have enough money?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Why do you think that is? Why do you think you have enough money to be able to live and prosper? And these people are coming to you bitching and moaning, and you've done all this healing work. You don't need their money. Not only do you not need their money, but these people that are coming to you don't even know they need help. So they're definitely not paying you for help. So now, okay, not only are you not getting paid financially, but you're attracting people that don't even know that they need your assistance in terms of awareness. And I'm not talking about awareness where you're trying to teach them something. Mm-mm. Or waking them up. No, 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 no. I'm talking about your soul shining in front of them so brightly that it slowly activates their soul regardless of what you say. So there's compassion from you. There's calmness, there's listening. I said, "Have you know how powerful it is to just listen to that person, that they never are actually heard. Most people are not heard. They speak, and the other person is thinking about what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, what they need to say, how this person needs to change or fix, or how it's related to their life, and they can't wait to share this story. Rarely do we just sit and listen to someone without saying anything. So, service right now is massive. And this friend of mine, he's always saying, like, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here? And he's finally relaxed into just letting that go. So many of us don't realize that our service here is the interactions that we have every day with humanity. That is how you change the world. That's how we change the world. And I'm not saying that you go out and just start listening to everybody bitch and moan and complain about their lives. There's boundaries, right? You'll know when you are sort of more ready or more integrated, sort of, where you can compassionately hold space for the kind of lost souls that are going to come to you as friends and family and neighbors and whatever, bitching and moaning and complaining about their lives. And you realize from a higher perspective, oh, wow, this is soul calling me. This person's soul calling my soul to remind it. This has nothing to do with me, the person I think I am. Wow. Okay. Game on. Let's go. And then the world slowly starts to change. So try to start thinking about this more and more. And of course, we're all at different levels, okay? So by all means, this does not mean that you just let people walk all over you or disrespect you, or that you just sit on the phone and listen to your best friend bitch and moan over and over and over, like being of service. Like, no. Allow the human part of you to do what it needs to do, which means that maybe you get upset, maybe you say no, maybe you're like, I refuse to speak to you today, I'm taking a time out from this friendship. But it doesn't matter. This isn't about just letting people walk all over you like a wet carpet or whatever that saying is. It is, however, realizing that there are no mistakes with the people that are coming into your life and the people that are in your life. No mistake. And that you are and have been cleaning and clearing and aligning and doing all this personal work so that you can assist other souls, humans that come to you and talk to you. And it's your job as this awakened human to realize this is what's happening. So service is really, really huge. This I would say this is an energy update for the year, to be honest. Like these are going to carry out through the rest of the year for those of us that are really kind of waking up, deeply waking up. Um yeah, a lot of us have had this experience where people just open up to us. They just um and my friend did say this. He goes, "Lorie, don't you think there are people that are gifted with this and that they're just born with it and people just come and speak to them and they just open up?" Yeah. And it's what we're here to do as as part of being human, is serve others. And this service could also be donating time, donating money, volunteering. It's not just showing up and listening to friends and family and whatever. It could be actually being of service. Going and volunteering your time, going and donating your money to something that really lights you up. Giving, 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 giving. Really giving. Mm. Okay. So we have intuition coming into this like new world type of way of being more and more. We have service. Don't forget that you came here to be of service. This woman told me her whole life story. Um, okay, and number 3, um, what do I think about psychics? I don't know. It's interesting about psychics because psychics it's like telepathy almost. It's like you're well, it's actually not like telepathy. It's like um what's it like? I, I don't know the word, but you can tap into it, the quantum field. Here's how I like to describe psychics, okay? Psychics are, if they're real legit psychics, what they're doing is, I want you to imagine, okay, just use me as an example. Here I am, and there is a big, large quantum field around me. All right. And currently, I am on a timeline, okay, a trajectory based on my frequency, based on my intentions, based on my choice, based on traumas that are still stored in my body that are dictating my behaviors. So everything is based on the now, and the now dictates the timeline. So if everything stayed the same in my body and in my thoughts and in my beliefs, which doesn't happen, I'm changing every single day. That's why my timelines change all the time, meaning potentials, experiences. But if nothing changed and I just was numb throughout my day, wasn't aware or conscious, and just did life, then my timeline would most likely stay the same, which meant, I would be, you know, going down the same road. You're most likely going to run into, this relationship, and then you're just going to stay at this job, and you may have a potential for this job over here. You may be able to have an opportunity to travel, right? So there's a timeline with all these possibilities in that timeline. Now, here's the crazy thing. There's an infinite amount of timelines that are connected to me. So at any moment, the trajectory that I was on can shift, even if it's just a tad bit. And all of a sudden, a brand new timeline opens. So I'm no longer going towards that relationship with some person that's an Aquarius that, um, that's going to break my heart or is a very emotional person. That thing that the psychic picked up on is no longer available because I shifted my focus. I started feeling a specific emotion that was stored in my body, and it allowed me to start choosing a different behavior, a different way of being. And just by doing that, it clicks you into a new timeline. Sure, you may be going to the same job and living at the same house, but by shifting your behaviors, by shifting thought, by shifting stuck stored emotion, just by shifting choices, you shift the timeline. Doop, 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 doop. And so potentials that were available on this timeline are no longer available. Now it's this timeline. So psychics aren't wrong. And the reason some psychics predict things and some psychics don't is based on what timeline they're reading. And so I always take the any psychic reading as a grain of salt. Had a psychic reading. A friend of mine's like, "You've got to go get a reading by this woman." I haven't had a reading in years. Can't remember the last time. 2018. Yeah, 2018 was, or 2000. No, 2017. Oh no, shit! It was 2016. Sorry, 2016 was the last time I had a reading, and I think so. Anyway, so this woman, my friend's like, "You gotta go see this woman. You call her on the phone. She's freaking phenomenal." I'm like, "Okay." I was on my way to Africa. I was like a week before Africa. And so I get on the phone with her, and I can feel what she's doing, and she's navigating and tapping into a specific timeline. Some of the stuff she said resonated, some of it didn't. Some of the things she said was true and it was panning out, like Africa is going to change your life, or you're about to go travel, and wherever you travel, it's going to change your life. But I also knew that she was reading a specific timeline, so I wasn't attached to any of the what she was saying. Um, so when we rely on, like, what the psychics are saying, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because you really want to be in more of the magic of the quantum field, where it's like, I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting something completely different because I'm always changing timelines. Okay, we have intuition, we have service, now we have intensity. Okay, here's the third energy to pay attention to: intensity, which is you're going to feel spurts or bouts of intense emotion, it's going to feel supercharged. So, for instance, I was sitting here 30 minutes before our live, and I just felt this intense loneliness, this intense sadness, this intensity of, like, weird. I can't even pinpoint it. And it just came out of nowhere, super intense, and then it went away. It was like, those storms that, they get in Florida in the summertime, where it's, or, in the South in the United States, where it's like these thunderstorms come in out of nowhere. These clouds just roll in, massive thunder and rain, and then are gone, and the sun comes back out. So that is a potential that you may start to feel more and more. Just these things come in, blast you, and then leave, instead of staying for quite some time. So on one level, it's great because it's not going to last as long, but how the other thing is that it's more intense, so it's gonna feel more debilitating, perhaps, like, in that moment. And that's what we've been training for. Training meaning learning how to feel, right? We've been learning how to feel so that we can continue to expand and let our light get brighter and brighter on this planet, and when that happens, the intensity of what you're gonna feel is gonna be these blasts. And the reason it's a blast and then it leaves is because that's how the energetic world works. You're becoming more energetic. It's moving, it's either activating within you this sadness, and whew, activates, whew, rushes through, or it comes from something external, activates, and then moves through. But that is how it's designed to be. Wow, super intense. Holy cow. And then it moves through. And you've learned for a couple of years now, 6 months, I don't know how long you've been learning how to just feel, but there's a reason for it. Everything is preparing you for this kind of new world that we're stepping into. It's a feeling state world. You got to be able to feel these intensities because you're in the intensity. There's so much energy around us and in us that we call emotions. It's just energy. And so it's going to be intense. Maybe it stays. Okay. Maybe you're feeling more low, more depression, more like deep, deep rest, kind of like, heaviness, sadness. Um, Pay attention to how you are viewing the emotions. It's probably getting more intense for you. And if it's lasting for a while, it's getting more intense. And so my suggestion, my offering, my recommendation is to pay attention to how you're viewing it, and remind yourself over and over and over again, this is just moving through me. Especially if you have depression right now. This is just moving through me. This is just moving through me. This is simply moving through me. It's moving through me. Because it is. How do we ground these surges quickly enough? I was overwhelmed. It can be overwhelming. Yeah, how do you ground them? You don't need to ground them, but I would say if if you can slow down and sort of sit with what's coming through. So, not focus intently on it, Jeffrey, but more give it permission. So, give it space. So, actually sit when it comes in, right? If it's sadness or if I had anxiety this morning and I was like, wow, this is intense. Ugh, right? So, I gave it a moment. I respected it. I sat for a moment with it. And then I just kept going about my day. Okay. So you want to be really careful. This is so, so, so important. You don't want to wallow in what is and focus on it. Okay. You want to keep moving, keep doing things, doing the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. What happens to a lot of us when we think about feeling things is we think we have to focus on it. And when we focus on it, then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we're like, holy shit, it's not going away. What am I supposed to do? Oh my God, this is intense. And it becomes bigger than it needs to be. Okay. But we do need to be with it. Okay. So only you kind of know how to navigate that. But please, you guys, when these intense surges come in, try not to focus too long on it. Okay. So, for instance, I sat here and I'm in this hotel room and I'm feeling all these things and I'm speaking it out to a girlfriend of mine just because it feels good to just kind of get out what I'm feeling. I always recommend that. And then I knew that I was going to do this. So I knew I had something planned next. I wasn't going to just sit in it and wallow in it. Okay. And if I didn't have this, I would probably go to bed. I'd put a movie on and I'd go to bed. But I gave myself some space, 10, 15, 20 minutes to be with it, the intensity of it. You are not in charge of how it moves. You're not in charge of the velocity of it, the fastness, how fast it comes and goes. You're not in charge of the intensity of it. You're not. And so what you're learning, Jeffrey, and anyone else that's kind of wondering how to ground it, what you want to do is you want to slow down enough where you're sitting with it just for a moment, like, wow, massive anxiety. Holy shit. You start to get curious with anxiety, or you get curious with this. What is this feeling? It was so uncomfortable tonight. So uncomfortable. Oh, it just felt so uncomfortable. I knew I didn't need to focus on it for too long. So there's this, I'm not in charge, but I also don't need to focus on it. It's going to do what it's going to do. And so I need to also move forward in my moment, right? Does this make sense? So you don't want to try to control any of it. It's like a tsunami. Yeah, you want to exactly. You want to move through it. So you want to literally think about the fact that like it's here, okay? And you are courageously uh feeling this whatever it is. You don't need to ground it. What you need to do is just keep moving. Go brush your teeth, go take a shower, call someone on the phone. Um, but you don't want to not allow it first, okay? So let's say that the uncomfortable energy came in tonight and I did everything I could to not feel it. So I distracted myself and I tried to ignore it and I pushed it away and what no, no, no. We don't want to do that. We want to appreciate it. Here comes a tsunami of God knows what, right? And you say, okay, I've had enough of you. I see you, I hear you, I feel you. I'm going to now get up and go do dot, dot, dot. I'm going to move through it. A lot of times when we're on this path, we think we have to do something to it. I've got to I've got to move it through. No, you don't. You don't do anything with the emotion. You don't. You don't process it. You don't fix it. You don't change it. You don't get rid of it. You're not that powerful, believe it or not. Energy is much more powerful. It knows what it's doing. It truly knows how to move through the body. Trust me. And the more that you can just allow it to move through the body, which means that first you recognize there's a tsunami coming, there's a surge coming. Holy shit. Right? Here comes a massive storm. What are you going to do? Close your windows and turn up your music and pretend it's not there? No, you're going to open it up and say, "Whoa, look at this fucking storm." And then what are you going to do? Go back to cooking. You're going to go cook your spaghetti, or you're going to go finish up your shower. You're going to finish up that email. The storm's still going. You're not in charge of the storm. Everyone thinks they're in charge of the emotions and they have to change them, and that's suffering. Trying to change the storm, trying to bring out the sunlight, going against nature. So think about when these surges come, Jeffrey, it's less about grounding it in. Okay, maybe you feel really wonky, so that's just a slowing down. Just for a moment, slow down. Give yourself permission to slow down and kind of recognize the storm, and then keep moving. Surf the wave, then let it go. Exactly. It's exactly it. Like you caught a wave, right? But when you get to the shore, paddle back out. All right, and last but not least, okay, so we have intuition, we have service, we have intensity, and creation. So creation, what's coming up around creation is I am statements. Right now, we're in a really powerful creative frequency on the planet. And we are truly creating from the right here, right now, based on our thoughts, based on what we're saying to ourselves, based on what we're believing, thought. We're creating. And we can create new in every moment, right? And so what came through were I am thoughts. What are you saying to yourself? I am what? And can you start saying things, I am statements that amplify you, that love you, that soften you. I am safe. I am soul. I am free. I am love. I am loved. I am creating. I am capable. I'm abundant. These mantras that people have been using forever and ever and ever. It's really it's really important and powerful that we recognize that as we become more energetic, as we become more elevated in frequency as the body, these statements are more potent. So they're more they're creating quicker. There's a quicker creation between what you're saying and the physical reality. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's creation. It's the new way. It's like the new kind of world that we're walking into is the ability to create quite quickly. And so really paying attention to what you're saying to yourself. I am. Yeah, I am enough. I am brilliant. I'm whole. I am perfect the way I am. I'm perfect in all my imperfections. Right? I am light. I am love. I'm not alone. Start to recognize the power of creation more and more right now. We are truly, truly walking ourselves into this new world that's always been available that we haven't accessed and we haven't been able to see because our frequency hasn't matched it yet. And our frequency is starting to match this new world. and it's incredible, and it's also very, very, um a lot of you are so courageously continuing to feel and show up in life, and there's so much emotion you guys are going through. So much emotion. So much. You guys are just so courageous. You have no idea, truly how courageous you are. Um, all of you. If you guys could all see each other's lives right now, you'd be like, "Oh my god, you're going through it as well. I'm going through it." You're like, "Wow." It's all about the clearing out, the shaking off, the fleas are being and you're finally, perhaps for the first time in your life, really trusting that feelings are allowed, that feelings can come and go. That is truly how you increase the frequency of your body is you feel. You feel. And so why is everybody feeling more and more and literally thinking that they're losing their freaking minds and marbles? Because that's how the body increases frequency. It drops the density. What's the density? Stuck and stored emotional states, emotions, frequency. So as light comes into the body, guess what happens? It shakes up the density. What's the density? Stored emotion. Well, why do we have stored emotion? Because you forgot that you are safe to feel everything. So when you had an experience that created an emotional energy that moved through your body and you didn't feel safe to feel it, you negated it, you ignored it, you stopped it from moving through by not recognizing it, by doing anything you could to not feel it. Then it stays in the body. It needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be recognized. It needs to be seen. And then there's a movement, there's a flow. And when there's flow, which is the natural way that our bodies are designed to be, that toroidal field that just does this figure eight, then everything comes and goes, and your body naturally continues to move into higher and higher frequencies. You are not in charge. You don't get to choose this. You simply show up and feel. That's your superpower. That's the superpower. So just imagine this toroidal field. This toroidal field is the right in and out. And recognize what you're saying to yourself as often as you can. The reason that I'm firing this mentor, that I tried to fire her today, but I got wrapped up in it again, is because she made me feel like there was something wrong with me. And I don't care if I'm in a container where I am here to do personal work. I refuse to be in anything that makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. I won't do it. I refuse. I already beat myself up enough. I don't need somebody else to light that flame. Mm-mm. No, no, no. We're here to encourage each other. We're here to raise each other up. We're here to cheer each other on. We're here to have compassion and empathy for all of our bumps and bruises and sores and messed up messeries that we do in life. We are here to wrap our arms around each other. And if you want to say that pointing out somebody's, you know, don't that you pointing out someone's blind spots is helping them, the deep, deep pattern. That's a third dimensional, dense, messed up pattern. I'm helping you. I have a friend that used to do that. I'm pointing out your blind spots. Go fuck yourself. I don't need you to point out my damn freaking blind spots. I'm doing enough myself. I've got it. Thanks, buddy. Don't let anyone tell you, what you need to see or feel or think or hear. Trust your intuition. Remember, you're here to be of service. And so everything that you're doing all day, every day, is so that you can show up and be of service to humanity. And you can wrap your arms around humans that think they're all messed up and that there's something wrong with them. Your job is to wrap your arms around them and remind them there's nothing wrong with them. Personal growth and healing is not about, you know, pointing out what you need to look at. Not in my opinion. Mm-mm. It's about having somebody hold space for you while you show up for life and you start consciously looking at every single thing you're doing and you choose to show up. You choose to see it. You choose to change it. And that person next to you is holding space, cheering you on, and loving the hell out of you. Keep going. And hopefully you have somebody in your life, at least one person, even if it's somebody you listen to on a podcast, that makes you feel like you're a badass, that you're doing a great freaking job, and you keep going because it's not easy. And we're not in control of getting rid of things in our lives. We're not even in control of healing. What we are in control of is showing up in presence every day and listening to our intuition, trusting it, remembering we're here to be of service, letting the intensity of emotion move through, right? Feeling charged up, or the surge, like Jeffrey called it. It's such a beautiful word. I actually put charged, but surge is so much better. We're all surging. We're all getting these bursts of stuff, and we all feel like, oh, geez, Louise, am I going to make this? Don't have anybody in your life that's tearing you down. You don't need it. Trust me. Don't have anyone in your life that's making you doubt yourself. No, 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 no. And if you have somebody in your life that is doing that and you can't necessarily walk away from them, find somebody that will listen to you and find somebody that will cheer you on. And then the creating. We're creating. Creating. Creation. You are a badass, Marianne. All right. It's 2 a.m. I will be waking up in 3.5 hours. Oh, Lord. Also, I got this. If you guys know, I the last couple of times I've traveled, my flights have been canceled. Dear God. So I get this text message tonight that said, oh God, there's a grounding strike. There's a national grounding strike with the airlines or something. Your flight may be delayed or canceled. January 31st, February 1st. I said, you know what? I'm going to pretend that I didn't just read that text, and I'm going to really just pray to freaking Jesus. Please, God. Please. Please. God Almighty, if I get to the airport and my flight's canceled, it is what it is, but I swear to you guys, I just cannot. But what a gift to be able to travel, and I understand that, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But it is an interesting experience when the universe continues to throw these things along the way. Can make you say, you know, I've watched Lorie travel the last couple months. I don't think I'm going to do that. Yes, I want an uneventful day of travel, please. They are blocking a lot of places. Sweet baby Jesus. All right. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep or not. We'll see what happens. But I love you guys. I hope this energy update was whatever it was for you, you know? Um yeah, there's a lot of protests in Germany. There's protests every day. It's pretty actually really quite inspiring the amount of protests that happen in Germany. Um, the other day, the streets were closed and the trains were closed for like 3 days because the farmers were protesting. So there were farmers that came from all over the country. Well, I should say hours and hours away. If you're from Berlin, please check me on this. Like clean it up for me. But these farmers that don't aren't the government is stopping their ability to sell their produce, or it's becoming more expensive for them to produce, for them to grow. And I think it's the gas. Is somebody from Germany here that can help me? Anyway, they had a protest. So the farmers drive hours and hours in their tractors, which is extremely expensive, to protest the government, whatever they're doing with the food. And they shut the streets down, and it's just tractors driving down the road. It's really powerful, like I think what's so beautiful about Germany, one of the things that's powerful about Germany and the protests is that it had the powerful potential of breaking down the wall. Um, it was the people. Now there's all kinds of other stuff around Germany. Anyways, my whole point is that that when we do speak up, if it does have the potential, but it also really doesn't. But it does. But it doesn't. But it does. Okay, I'm done. Massive tax increases. Okay, thank you, Martha. Thank you. It's a worldwide policy to destroy agriculture and starve people. Protests in Belgium, France, Germany, and Netherlands. Thank you, Cameron, for educating me. Wow. Belgium, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. Really, really incredible. Okay, you guys, I love you. I'll see you on Sunday, February 4th. For our guided meditation. Thank you for being here. I think that's all for now. Oh wait, before I go, shoot, I forgot to tell you guys this in the beginning. I'm doing the Divine Design YouTube series starting this Thursday, February 1st at 2 p.m. California time. So I'm going to be going live on YouTube and at 2 p.m. on Thursday for 6 weeks. And I'm going to be talking about the divine design. I'm so freaking excited. I cannot wait to dive into the book. I put the book out a year and a half ago, and I have really not really gone into it and talked about it. So this is the beginning of like really deep diving into my book more and more. So if you've read it or you've listened to it and you've had questions, and you're like, or you just want to dive deeper into it, join me Thursdays at 2 p.m. California time on YouTube. It's free. The replays will be up. And then last but not least, you guys know that most of you know that I'm doing a live in-person 3-day workshop in Boone, North Carolina, April 19th, 20th, and 21. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's so far the only event that I'm doing in person this year. And it's going to be a ton of fun. And it's going to be powerful, and it's going to be activating. We're going to spend so much time together in person. We're all staying at the same retreat, so we all are going to be hanging out together. It's just going to be really special and really magical. And so check out my website. The link is there, or just go to the Art of Living Retreat Center. The link is there. Email me if you're interested. We'll send you the link and all the details. Really encourage you. Oh, and also if you do sign up before February 18th, I'm doing a 1-hour call for those of us that sign up on February 19th. It's like an activation call. I'm really tired. I'll just explain this on Sunday. But if you signed up already, you're going to be part of the call. And if you sign up before February 18th, you can be part of this 1 hour call I'm doing. It's going to help us open to the workshop and what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be diving into. And so it's kind of like a preemptor for the workshop. Anyway, I'm freaking exhausted. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. I love you guys. And I will see you Sunday. I'll keep you updated on my travel if anything happens. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Mwah.